The fact that liberals are so fucking awful, full of shit, and they lie about everything, and they manipulate everything.
We agree on that.
And the moment they get a chance to fuck you, they will.
Absolutely.
So
is he a mob boss, that guy?
So I have no idea who this dude is. So let me just ask this question, just genuinely. When you say liberals, whom specifically are you talking about?
Up next, we got to wait and find out. It's the cliffhanger.
But it's the thing, right? This has been going on for decades. This was a Rush Limbaugh shtick ages ago, and it was the guys who, came before him kind of that started this whole like right-wing talk radio and all this bullshit. They're like, liberals hate America, liberals this, liberals that. I'm like, okay, but can you point to me specifically whom you mean by when you say liberal? Like, what do you mean when you say liberal? Liberal just becomes this like catch-all term.
Yeah, that's the
like,
point. That's why Rush Limbaugh died in a very expensive coffin.
And he has one of America's preeminent gender-neutral open-air toilets as a result. So, all right, let's keep going here.
Sentenced to 85 years in jail.
85 years.
For some property transactions?
Yeah.
Hold on. So,
that's this guy.
Was convicted, Southern District on indictment, 1,020 months in prison, 85 years, 3-year supervised release, $20 million restitution, and a $500 special assessment. Okay, this is amazing. So apparently this guy got pardoned. He committed a fuck ton of crime and got pardoned. So, okay, so now we know who we're dealing with. This is definitely
a winner.
I clearly some sort of Trump buddy, right? Real estate scan in New York.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, let's keep going.
Not
here.
murder?
No.
You have to really understand why you're trying to be so successful as a man. I think all of us as men, if we're honest with ourselves, are driven by this huge sense of ego. I think that we want to feel important and we want others to see us as important.
Guys, Mark here. We're back at Shapiro TV. We just finished.
Adam, why am I listening to Andrew Tate spout his opinions on Israel?
Because he's a very wise, masculine man.
He's British, under charges in Romania for sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it glorious?
Yeah. I just love the fact that a guy like, I can probably presume here, right? This guy like Shapiro would probably be the first to scream, who gives a shit what some celebrity thinks about politics or Israel or their opinion? But he starts his entire fucking episode of Andrew Tate asking Andrew Tate for his opinion on Israel.
Well, because he's all class. All right, let's.
If we didn't have double standards, we wouldn't have any standards at all, right, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. My brother and I have never said anything positive about Israel, probably ever, online. I have to make that very clear. I think that the ability to criticize any government is extremely important in a democracy with free speech.
Amen.
I think you have to have the ability to be unhappy with the actions of basically any government on the planet. And we've said a whole bunch of negative things about many governments, especially the British government, the one we're actually from, the one we're actually residents of. So we've never said anything positive about Israel. But that doesn't mean that we are harboring hate for huge subsects of the population, that we want bad things to happen to other human beings. We're just unhappy with the actions of a particular government. And it's actually many governments we're extremely unhappy with the actions of. And Israel's not even the one we talk about most. We talk about England most often. So I think this idea that, if somebody is unhappy with the actions of a particular government somewhere, that they hate all the people from that place, I don't think that's true. And perhaps you can tell me, because you know better, why that applies to Israel and the Jews more than it does other places. Because if I criticize Keir Starmer, nobody says I hate all the English people. Nobody would assume that I want British people to be hurt or die because I dislike Keir Starmer or I'm unhappy with his policies or some of the things he's done. But that does seem to come into play with Israel and the Jews. If you criticize the government, you get attacked and accused of things that simply aren't true. And I don't think that's fair on anybody,
Well, we Jews are very opinionated, okay?
I haven't noticed.
And we think that we're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
And, Israeli politics is something that I barely understand on the surface.
I was about to say, I don't understand it hardly at all. It's very complicated. Because Bibi seems in trouble there. I thought he was the boss and he's in trouble. And
look, I told your brother this, and I just recently met his son. What a charming kid.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a big Bibi fan.
Yeah.
Okay. But is he good? Has he been good? You know who's been good for Israel? Donald Trump.
I've heard that a lot.
Okay. And does Bibi do? He's just like any other political leader. He has people who like him, he has people who love him, and he has people who hate him.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you can't have the ability to exercise your freedom to speak and think, then where the fuck are we? Okay.
Yeah.
In another planet, in another world. Okay.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody is going to like me. Not everybody is going to like you.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to like someone who's changed the world, like a guy like Steve Jobs, who changed the phone.
Or Elon. Elon has haters.
I mean,
that's right.
And is it the fact that there's always a little jealousy? Absolutely. Okay. So people see you, and you're bright and articulate and successful, and they don't really look into my cup. They look at how much more you have in your cup.
This is true. Hate never comes from above. It seems to always come from below. This is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And the ability to...
Are you fucking kidding me? Hate never comes from above? That is gotta be the most insane thing I've ever heard.
And we're just getting started.
Hate never comes from above. It always comes from below. They're just trying to boil everything down. If you don't like someone, you're just jealous of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not jealous of Elon Musk, a man whose wives all hate him. He might be the most divorced man on earth at this point. His children universally hate him. No one likes him. I think there was a couple of comedy podcasters described him as a 3 who got plastic surgery to try to become an 8 and landed as a 5. All the money on earth can't give you class or empathy or style or humor. That stupid little joke he did, what was it, with Dealbook this past week, or one of those economic forums, and he's like, board of peace, piece of Greenland, piece of Venezuela, ha 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 ha. It's like,
Jesus Christ, did he? Oh my
dude,
God.
you are the CEO of 6 companies that I can remember, spend your entire day on Twitter replying to and resharing white power and white supremacist literature over and over. And this guy's going to come out here and tell me I don't like Elon Musk because hate comes from below. It doesn't come from the top. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I think, it depends on what you look as above and below. Like, I think they just refer to money. Like, that's the only thing that really matters, and that's the only measure that's important.
Well, that's the Tate thing, right? Is if you're a man, you are in charge of everyone and everything, and you have the money and the power. And it's like, nah, dude, like, be real. Like, be a good person. How about start with that? Don't be a shitbag.
Well, criminals have a tendency to flock together. So you got what you get in this case. All right.
You get what you get, and you get upset.
Yep. All right. Let's see more pearls of wisdom from these two gents.
Issues and
do it.
being open with your opinions, I think, are extremely important, and it's what America's built on. And I actually think it's one of the easiest ways to measure the decline of our society is that it's becoming harder and harder to have cordial disagreements or cordial differences of opinion. We could sit here and I could say, I've never said anything nice about Israel. And you could say, I love Israel. They've done everything perfectly. We should be able to have a conversation, shake hands at the end of it, and still do business at the end of it if we decide so, and move on. And
this is, he's talking about conversations that end with the elimination of one group or race or set or ethnicity of people at the expense of others. These conversations aren't like, hey, agree to disagree, when the fundamental agreement or disagreement in this case is, should trans people be allowed to exist? Or should we just have them all summarily executed? Should we just have the Jews killed, right? Should we just go after all black people or all Mexican people or whatever? Like, these are not agree to disagree, shake hands, and do business with each other.
You mean we cannot be cordial about this?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go out on a limb. No, if
yeah, it's their logic is, yes, in normal settings, in normal conversations with normal people, but most of these things are not occurring in those moments with you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we could just sit down and be like, I'm just not a fan of Israel. Yeah, but you're like, I'm not a fan of Israel and I think they should be exterminated. So what is your take on that?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
I love them. Okay. Well, let's just agree to disagree.
I don't know if social media has done that or why the world's changed, because I'm, of a different generation than a lot of the young people today, but you're a generation above me. And certainly in my day and age, you made a lot of money with people you didn't really like. And you spoke to people you didn't really like. And you got along with people you don't really like. You had to function. You can't get ahead without it. But now with social media, it seems that everybody is constantly at each other's necks. And the idea that someone's going to say something you don't 100% agree with completely to your core is going to be considered an act of violence against you. It's insane. And this is why we have, with the left, with the liberals, and they're attacking ICE and all this craziness. Nobody can even talk anymore and have a serious conversation.
Well,
again, you're just murdering people.
Yeah.
Again, not an agree to disagree thing. People shouldn't be murdered. I'm sorry. That's not even me. That's God. That's the 10 Commandments. That's the Abrahamic religions in a nutshell right there. Don't fucking tell me that, hey, killing people is bad. Well, I think killing people is good. You know what? We don't really have a bridge to divide here. There's no meeting in the middle ground on just straight up murder.
Yeah, you could agree to disagree on small things when you're closer together, even before these people were getting killed. And if you agree with that, then it's not even a conversation anymore. But right. Dragging them in the streets, dragging them out of the house, being able to enter their house without a warrant to grab them, taking them away from their children, we are already at that line of where our agreements are not going to come together and coalesce. And now we've just burned the bridge altogether. So you're not going to have relationships with these people because they're so far removed from you.
And here's the thing, right? They're framing this as this false left-right thing. And it's not even that. If you think about, if you just say the right-wing position is defend and support ICE. The left-wing position is abolish ICE. The centrist position, which is the mainline democratic liberal position, is we're upset that ICE is murdering people without the proper paperwork. That's really what the quote unquote left position, or at least the establishment position, is in this country. It's not abolish versus, support. It's that they didn't do it with the proper warrants and proper paperwork in place. They didn't follow the procedure to murder people, to murder citizens openly in the street. That's the centrist establishment position. So when you talk about meeting in the middle, they're not trying to meet in the middle between abolish ICE and support ICE. They're trying to be in the middle between, all right, how much of this paperwork can we skip and still kill people and land somewhere between that center to right position?
Well, yeah, definitely somewhere, because just same small minority of, just like when we had the, ban the police and all that stuff. That is like a tiny, tiny minority, but those become like the only people who count when you're on the right, because that's everybody on the left. 75% of everybody is in the middle. Like, no, we don't want to ban the police. We just don't think you should shoot people for no reason or kill people for no reason.
And then blatantly lie about it. Just have the video there of a guy holding a cell phone and the other arm is up in the air, and he's clearly trying to help a woman who got shoved to the ground because she fell. Anyway.
Okay. And I've said this before, and I respect the fact that you and your brother don't change your position, not because of this little bullshit that went on, okay? Because that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's being in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, okay? And they're trying to get celebrity off of you, who is actually a celebrity. Is the fact that liberals are so fucking awful, full of shit, and they lie about everything.
That's true.
And they manipulate everything.
We agree on that.
And the moment they get
Once
a
again,
chance to
who are
fuck
liberals?
you,
Yeah, it's just what do they call that? The boogeyman. It's just the boogeyman.
Yeah. Again, who is this liberals that you're talking about specifically, Mark? I'm genuinely curious.
And it's funny that, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He seems to be in those wrong places a lot. And doing a lot
I'm
of wrong
curious.
things.
I'm curious what specifically he's talking about.
I think he's referring to that Nazi party that he was at where they were singing the Kanye song and Heil Hitler and all that shit.
Yeah.
That's the gist I'm getting.
they will.
Absolutely. So why, and I guess probably one of my biggest worries about the West in general is that it seems no matter how hard people try to keep, conservatism in and of itself is conserving. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to preserve society, trying to conserve society. No matter how hard we try, the liberals just keep seeming to sneak in place after place and keep pushing back. I couldn't believe that New York's changed to, New York was the capitalistic city of the world.
It was.
And now we have this socialism sneaking in, and there's a whole bunch of people who are so disenfranchised with the system and who are so unhappy with their own position because, like you said, they're looking at everyone else's cup, not their own, that they're just getting radicalized and desperate to the point where they don't even expect the government to give them things. They just want the government to take from you. They know the government's not going to distribute it back out. They know if they say, let's tax the rich, they're never going to get any money. They know that. They just want to take it from you because they're bitter. And it's getting kind of scary where, you do well in life now in many Western countries, and you automatically have a target on your back because the way the political system works or the way the justice system works, these DAs seem to be far more interested in going after a man who has money than they are going after a homeless man who's actually committing the crime. These homeless people who are stabbing people and doing drugs and shooting people, they seem to get out of jail really quickly and they're back on the street.
In and out.
In and out. But if you have money, they really want to build a really big case and they really want to get you because they really want that money. And
I just feel like it's really, really, really important that when Andrew Tate complains that they're not going after gangbangers and street criminals, but they go after him for being successful. I just want to be clear. In the UK, he was charged with 10 counts of rape, assault and bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitute for gain. In other words, pimping. In Romania, he's under charges for also human trafficking of minors, again, rape, forming and leading an organized criminal group for sexual exploitation, and various money laundering type of offenses, which I'm actually surprised he's not charged with that in the UK, because that definitely was one of his things. He literally used to have episodes talking about how to basically don't pay your taxes. So, yeah, when
But he's not
talking about
killing anyone. You're missing the point. He's not killing anyone. He's not doing drugs.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what he's referring to.
So when he's talking about they're going after the wrong people. No, Andy, you're the right person that investigators should be going after.
You shouldn't be going after the grifters. The grifters are good people. They're just misunderstood. It's the homeless killers.
The grifters are just trying to. The grifters are out here hustling, man.
Yeah, they're just hustling you.
It's
and maybe you're homeless because
go
of
after
him.
poor
That
people.
might be possible.
Why are you going after rich, successful grifters who are robbing people and assaulting them and human trafficking and sexually controlling them and pimping them? Why don't you go after poor minorities?
Yeah, man, I'm just working the system. That's it.
It's scary.
Amazing.
It's scary.
Look,
So scary.
and we spoke about it a little bit. What I went through was still today, I can't even comprehend it.
Yeah.
And knowing
Mr. Con Man.
when I remember when they indicted me and they said that you don't own these projects, and I'm like, wait a second, I've owned these projects for 2 decades. What are you even talking in an indictment?
Yeah.
And the way that we own things is we don't own it in our own name. We own it in separate entities.
Which is prudent.
I have a trust. My kids have trust. The money flows through to them.
Of course.
And their whole goal was to take whatever I had and not redistribute it and hold on to it. And that's what they do.
Of course. And I want to hear your story because, and I'm interested in your opinion, if it's just human nature where a DA or a prosecutor is more incentivized because you're a bigger scalp, or if there also is a governmental aspect to it where they just like the idea of, if we're going to spend money using the justice system, spend money on the courts, spend money on a prosecutor, spend money on all this, we want to get some money out of it. That's why they're not interested in spending all that money on trying to prosecute a homeless guy, because there's no payoff for them.
So in the same way, Andrew is our lovely human trafficking rapist pimp and tax fraud. Mark, I just looked him up. So he had 2 separate sets of cases. The first was he ran a scheme to defraud First National Bank. Again, you never fuck with the money, right? They faked loan information to the bank. They diverted company money into various accounts to evade taxes. And they also defrauded the Housing and Urban Development Department, whatever you want to call it, and siphoned funds using his wife's bank account. So basically, he ran a couple of shady book deals, right, and lied to banks to get money that he probably wasn't entitled to, and then avoided paying taxes on it. So he pled guilty, sentenced 30 months in prison, and then cooperation agreement later voided for lies about trusts and loans. So it looks like he may have served that time. Then he had a second set. He raised $16 million from over 150 investors via unregistered securities tied to real estate deals. He hid his felon status, used boiler room tactics and false marketing on track record, Ponzi-like returns, 8% promised. He misappropriated $2.6 million of that $16 million. Undisclosed loans to himself and some other people named here, and personal expenses, his personal home construction, and paying off his prior restitution for his other frauds. Arrested 2006, Southern District of New York, SEC emergency action froze assets, appointed a receiver, sentenced to 85 years, $22 million in restitution, $23 million in forfeiture.
That's a lot of years
Yeah,
for so
so
little money.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'd have to probably dig in a little bit more than is worth at the moment, but I'm gathering that because of so many investors, right, that these are essentially concurrent
Yeah,
sentences.
it's not his first time either.
So you get 3 months per instance or whatever, right? You do that over 20, 30
Good point. Yeah.
consecutive guilty charges, right? That adds up real fast.
Yeah. And his good and
Of
course Trumpy,
sequential,
you
not
know,
concurrent.
pardon him.
Well, of course he did. He's a tri-state area real estate guy. They're best friends.
And he's you know, he's a Jew. And Trump loves the Jews. That's why Trump has done so much for Israel.
Okay, so anyway, so now we know who we're talking about here, right? So we're talking about a rapist and a human trafficker and a guy who
He's a
just
con
runs
man,
Ponzi
you know.
schemes.
They're
It's a
all
con man.
con
So
men.
it's one con man talking to another con man. This is beautiful. This is con.
And people love him. They love the con man. I just wish I knew why.
I have similarity in our stories in regards to the fact that the justice system was very, very interested in not only getting us, but getting hold of our money. They really wanted the money. And that was in Romania, but it seems to happen everywhere. So I'm really interested in your story and why they did it.
That is a very, very common theme. In my situation, it's crazy. So here in the U.S., when the FBI is trying to make a case or someone's trying to make a case, they need a search warrant. And in order to get a search warrant, they need a judge to sign the search warrant.
Yep.
In my case, they shopped 7 different judges. It's called judge shopping because none of the judges would give a search warrant.
Wow.
So they find another judge, and we don't know any of this until I'm sentenced to, which was 85 years, which is a life sentence.
You were sentenced to 85 years in jail?
85 years.
For some property transactions?
Yeah.
Not murder?
No, not murder. Not
Murder's 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I think it's worth
mentioning
mentioning at the moment that Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos, you remember that whole thing? You got to remember, they basically fraudulently gave bad medical results and information to thousands of patients, basically lying to them about their health and well-being. There was no charges for injuring any of these people or any of the medical problems that arose as a result. What she was nailed on was defrauding the investors.
Mm-hmm.
If there is 2 tiers of justice in America, and there is, one of them is much more valuable, or at least prosecuted, right, and followed than the other, and it's don't fuck with rich people's money.
Yeah, that's why
you
never do a robbery with a gun. Do it financial fraud. You're much better off.
Well, but if you're going to do that, you rob poor people.
Yeah.
If you rob everyday people. If you rob wealthy people especially who are politically connected, they're going to fuck you.
Yeah, that's why Bernie Madoff died in prison. You cannot go out. You can't take the richest money because they will come after you hard.
Never fuck with rich people's money. That's why, look, I'm a big fan of guillotines. Guillotines are bipartisan. It is honestly France's single greatest contribution to human culture. But guillotining wealthy people isn't the answer. It's cathartic. It feels good, right? But guillotining the wealthy isn't what to do. What you do to wealthy people to make them suffer, make them hurt, like these 2 assholes, is you turn them into poor people.
Exactly. You got to take the money away because what else do these people care about?
That's all they fucking give a shit about. All they care about is the money, and they don't care who they hurt to get it.
Nope.
Daughter's named after. His name was Mickey. He was murdered by his girlfriend on June 23rd, 1980, here in Miami.
Bet she was out in no time.
And she did 7 years.
Yeah.
And then my uncle went and spoke at her parole hearing.
Yeah.
And they didn't listen to, and the prosecutor was Janet Reno. I don't know if you know who she was.
I've heard that name.
She was down here, and then she became the U.S. attorney.
Wow.
When they came after me, and when we ended up losing, the judge that I had was a judge named Kimball Woods. And Kimball Woods' 3rd husband was a gentleman named Frank Richardson, and he lost about $3 million in Stratton Oakmont, the Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. We hired somebody as a sales trainer from Stratton Oakmont. That's what brought this whole thing, my whole business down.
So you're hiring from a known criminal, a former criminal empire, and you wonder why you got in trouble.
I don't understand why the SEC is looking at me. I just partnered with Jordan Belmont of Stratton Oakmont. Jordan Belfort of Stratton Oakmont. I don't understand why you're paying attention to me. I'm just an honest businessman. My God.
You can't. I don't know why my accounting books are off. I just hired the accountants that Enron used.
Look, Wesley Snipes does my taxes. I don't understand why you're questioning my returns. The man is Blade. Come on.
Oh my God.
Empire.
Some tedious link.
And a young man who was a disbarred lawyer had gotten indicted, and he was on Long Island because that's where we had our fundraising office. Mm-hmm. And we used to raise our own money. He comes into my office. We had just bought a large portfolio of 6,000 units, 16 different assets. And my team couldn't really explain it, okay? And we weren't raising money for it. Mm-hmm. And he sees this guy who was notorious. I think he was the number 4 guy at Stratton Oakmont. Yeah. Calls his FBI handler. Still remember it today. Her name was Jennifer May. Very hot. Smoking hot. And tells her that this can't be real because this guy came from Stratton Oakmont. Fast forward to the people that helped me, we get an affidavit that says that the judge's third husband lost this money. She should be recused. They don't recuse her. We get a second affidavit from the FBI analyst that disappeared 2 weeks before my trial because we found her in Scottsdale, Arizona. She refused to testify.
Wow.
Because she said, there's no malfeasance here.
Yeah.
So they had already started to dismantle the company. They had already started to sell the assets.
Yeah.
And they had already started to repatriate the money.
And you get no compensation from the government for any of this?
Isn't it odd that a disbarred lawyer just happens to walk into the office and see this guy that he knew that was also a fellow criminal? I wonder if this guy they were looking to hire for something.
We have actually talked about it. The gentleman that helped me, Howard, and he is like, Mark, if we go after them, they're going to put another target on you.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
And then the other thing is,
you were
I already have a
last
target
thing. I
on
have
me.
no idea. I think that was
Because
them.
I got out of prison.
Yeah.
I went back to the real estate business. I started making money.
Yeah.
Okay. And people don't like that.
How do they justify 85 years for, I'm guessing it was some kind of fraud, but how do you justify a life sentence for that? Like, surely, if you're going to let people out for murder after 6 or 7 years, to try and justify taking away someone's entire life, and I'm guessing it's some kind of fraud or for whatever it is, it's just insane to me.
Securities fraud.
Yeah, it's insane to me. How do they even justify that?
There's no justification for it because a lot of these guys, well, there's two ways to during the sentencing process, the government sentencing process, you can run a sentence concurrent or consecutive. Concurrent means they would all run at the same time, and consecutive means that they run one at a time.
Got it.
So because there were 5 counts, one was 5 years, and then the other 4 were 20 years, they call it stacking.
One after another.
Right. And then one of the things that we're working on is a new law. It's called the trial penalty. And one of the more sophisticated lawyers here who actually helped me, Alan Dershowitz, they
Another
got
winner.
a bill in front.
All winners run together, don't they?
And then I called my banker, Jeffrey Epstein, and they got together and they were like, I don't know, Mark, you're kind of up Shit's Creek.
Share an island
so-
together, guys. Jesus.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, he tried to fly me out and the marshals got to me first. Holy shit. Yeah, so I'm digging a little bit on Mark, right? So when it comes to sentencing, right, there's like escalators and guidelines.
Right.
To basically right from most lenient sentencing to least to most lenient sentencing, right, to maximum sentencing. So he was already in the top level category because of that first fraud conviction, which had only happened a couple years earlier, right? He was fresh off that. So automatically he's in the max category. Now, in case you can't tell, this asshole's a liar. Right?
No.
He's completely full of shit. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of people who would gladly do business with him, that are going to believe this. But he got 2 more levels. I'm just reading off the guideline impact here. 2 more levels for obstruction because he lied during the investigation of the trial. He was in charge, right? He was controlling the entities and he was kind of the overseer of this. So he got another 4 levels. Got 2 more levels for sophistication, right? Which is the boiler room, the telemarketing, fake documentation, Ponzi payouts to early investors, right? To keep it going. Abusive position of trust, like the fiduciary responsibility, all that. Plus 6 for 250 plus victims, mostly elderly and unsophisticated investors, many of whom lost their life savings. And the last one, plus 30 levels, so more than all the other ones combined, because of the size of the fraud, which is over $23 million defrauded.
Yeah.
So basically, he started at a category 6 or 7, and he reached 37.
Mazel tov.
This is why. Yeah, exactly. Congratulations. I mean, you basically lived, an entire lifetime there.
Yeah, and it's not much, like you said
so,
earlier.
yeah.
It's like basically like 3 months a victim, That's not a lot of time that these guys are. If it was just one person suing you and you got 3 months, great. But you did it 250 more times.
Yeah. So he gained 37 points or levels onto his guideline sentencing from the original 6, and the 6 was starting off. You were a recently convicted fraudster, and you're a recidivist. So you're already at that max level to start sentencing, and you added 37 more levels onto it, which is amazing. That is, bravo, dude. I'm proud of you. The fact that you talk about this proudly and not with shame is just a testament to your Grinch-like, rotting, garlic-filled soul.
I mean, he's got the suit to, go with the.
He really does. This suit is something else.
I'm just curious to know what other names he's gonna drop that he hangs out with.
This is the fact that at this point, honestly, if you retain Alan Dershowitz in any way, shape, or form, you are automatically guilty. There is no way around the fact that you did whatever crime you did.
Yeah.
And Alan, of course, Alan is many things, right? And we don't want to, let's not get too off topic here, but in a sense, he is a damn good lawyer because he will fight for you in the most dirty, underhanded possible ways.
Because winning is everything.
So if you're a defendant, right, exactly. All that matters in this case is that you win.
Right.
And that you don't lose. And Alan is a guy he has no morals. He has no, ethical compass. He will say and do anything to get you free. And look, you commit $23 million of Ponzi schemes and defrauding 250 plus elderly investors and defraud them of their life savings, running a boiler room out of Long Island. By the way, dear listeners, never ever invest with a company out of Long Island. If you're a financial company and you're on Long Island, you're running a Ponzi scheme. You're a boiler room, right? It's full of shit. Anyone who's worth anything takes the commute into Manhattan. Period. End of story. If they're too lazy to go into Manhattan, they're trying to defraud you.
Or maybe they're just so smart they don't want to pay Manhattan real estate prices.
No, these assholes, because it's not their money. Of course they want to pay it. Which has always gotten me, right? Me as a poor person has always been like, and I've did this throughout my career. I visited so many of these offices and this and that, and some of them are just absolutely ludicrous. They got like fountains and all this, also rare artwork and all this shit. And you're like, and again, I say this as a poor person. If I was putting my money in with you, I'd be like, I don't want you fucking spending it on artwork and fountains and like, multi-million-dollar portfolios of property to show off to investors. I want you to put it to fucking work and make more money for me.
Yeah.
Right. But for that, once you hit a certain socioeconomic class, it's about showing off the money. Yeah. And it's like, I have so much money that I can give it to my investors here, not my investors, right? My traders, whatever you want to call it, my portfolio manager, my financiers, and they can waste the money and they still get me a fuck ton on top of it.
Like they want to show off that like, wow, they must know what they're doing if they have all this stuff. And I must want to give them my money because look at this. They got fountains in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And if you want a close second to Long Island for fraudsters and financial, Miami. These guys are going to Miami for sure.
Yeah. Weather's nice.
A plea deal, you can only get 150% of that time in prison. So I was offered a deal after 41 months locked up of 60 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not pleading guilty.
Yeah.
And I'm not ratting out on anybody. I'm not guilty.
100%.
I own these buildings.
Yep.
Okay. I ran this business. We had 1,200 employees.
Wow.
So, and they don't want to hear that.
It's completely crazy.
And those guys, the U.S. attorneys that prosecute you, their ultimate goal is they get out, they work. They're all, Columbia, Harvard graduates, Yale. They're all very smart guys, handsome, okay? And they make a name for themselves. They do 5 years, and then they do a signing bonus. They make $2-3 million salary at one of the white shoe firms.
So they want a big scalp
it's a notch on their belt. That's what it is. They notch their gun belt from all their kills, and then they go out and say, "Here's my resume."
Got it.
And they get these big jobs, these big white shoe jobs.
And that's why they go after the people with money. In Europe, in Europe today, I'm sure America has this problem, but Europe's got a real problem now where a lot of people with money are just getting hit with random indictments. I have friends in Poland, in Hungary, even in the based Eastern Europe.
I could just see them like just closing their eyes, like, who are we going to indict? Put the pictures on the wall and throw a dart at it. Random.
Is he about to say the based Eastern European nations?
Probably.
Europe. And the West is even worse in France and Germany and England. If you have any kind of money, you're just getting hit with an indictment. And I have this theory that it's basically win-win for them, especially in Europe, and maybe America's the same. Let's assume American taxes are 30 or 40%. If you can get a prosecutor who makes $100,000 a year and get him to go after someone like you, and you're paying millions in legal fees, the state's winning. Think about it this way. They can get a $100,000 a year prosecutor to jump on a guy who has to spend $5 million in legal and get $2 million income and taxes, even if they lose the case. And then if they win the case, they also get to steal all your stuff. So it's really win-win for the government financially to just go after people.
Oh, 100%.
And it's really crazy. I mean, in Europe, my prosecutor probably makes, in Romania, $30,000 a year. My lawyers pay 30% tax, and I'm millions deep. The state's getting rich no matter what. And even if I beat my case and keep my assets, they still got rich. And if I lose, they steal all my stuff. So it's kind of crazy where, you know, you go through life and you want to be successful and you want to escape the streets so you're not a target for all the criminals. And you get to the top and people still want your head on a stick.
Well, I said it to your brother. They took a civil...
This is amazing. So is the argument these two really trying to make is that the state is going after me for my money?
Yeah, they're upstanding citizens, I believe.
They hate us because they ain't us, right?
There you go.
They hate us because they ain't us. I mean, Andy, Mark, I got news for you boys. The government has all the money. It's the government's money, man. That they issue it. They don't need to go through the hoops of prosecuting you. Like, they could just print more. They want money. They could just issue some bonds. They don't need to rob your... I mean, these guys are wealthy compared to you and me. I mean, again, they're fraudsters, right? So the wealth is all bullshit. But they don't need to prosecute people like this. These guys are not getting prosecuted for tax evasion, though. That's part of it, right? They're getting prosecuted for actual hard crime.
Yeah, it's because they just look at like a thing like, this guy's trending on TikTok. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him down. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
I mean, these guys want to talk about like the decline of Western civilization and blaming liberals for all this. How about this? How about let's reintroduce the concept of shame into society? Because these guys have none whatsoever.
I mean, but they talk as if, not even that they have no shame, like, I did nothing wrong. And it's almost like they really believe it. Or they're really good actors and they missed their boat on being in Hollywood.
They're con men, right? And they tell a story. Yeah. And this is the same story they get to get people to invest in the first place.
Yeah, and join, what is it? What's his university? Hustler University?
Hustlers University, I believe, yeah.
Case, a civil state statute, and they made it criminal, and they indicted a president.
Bro, crazy.
Why? Because one, they're afraid of him. Yep. Two, they hate him.
Yep.
And three, he's been very successful.
Yep.
Okay.
They're talking about Trump.
I believe so.
How has he been very successful at defrauding others, going into bankruptcy?
I don't know how they even turned this. By the way, I mean, these are not dissimilar charges that Trump was indicted on from what Shapiro here was indicted on to an extent, right? He didn't obviously do the Ponzi scheme, but the whole, all the paperwork bullshit, right? That this is what he got indicted on.
Yeah.
This is what he got convicted on.
I think they're even forgetting that. I think he's just focusing on the sex stuff with the rape case and all that stuff, the civil, that kind of stuff. But, I mean, come on. Just come on. He's just, you know what? He is their king con man. That's basically what it is. Successful at conning. That's it.
That they do that. I mean, I don't know if they go after Elon, but you know, they've gone after Apple for antitrust. They've tried to do this. I'm sure they will.
Yep.
Okay. There's always a constant undertone of people that are unhappy with the people out in society who are successful.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these, we've become more of a financial environment here in South Florida. I think we're actually now the number one money center banking city in the world.
Wow.
Here, it surpassed New York,
Yep.
which used to be the financial haven.
Yep.
Okay, now it's here, and a lot of these funds, like Citadel, Broadwater, Goldman Sachs, they're all moving here.
Yep.
Okay, and they're moving here. They're moving all their staff, and they're here because this is a better place to operate. Now, are they going after them? I guarantee you, they're going to notice something. Okay, maybe they're too big to fail.
Yeah.
When you're worth a few $1 billion, you're too big to fail. When you're worth 100 to 200 million, they'll come after you.
Yep.
Okay, and I remember when I made my first huge score, and I bought a jet, and I thought I was 6 feet tall, and my dick was 12 inches long, and I became an asshole, cheated on my wife, fucked up my marriage, but that's stuff I have to live with.
Yep.
Became Mark.
That's what people like you do, though. They've left New York, the ones who have left, or in Illinois, like Citadel, is for taxes. That's all. Not because it's better.
That's all it is.
They want more money.
You're not better than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, you just have more money.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, you just got, and success sometimes is luck.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a huge degree of luck, of course.
Super.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, I do want to ask one thing. You're anti-Semitic or not?
No, I'm not anti-Semitic.
Didn't think so.
No, I'm not. This whole, the internet's become an extremely violent place, especially with this anti-Semitic rhetoric. And I think that I want to walk the line carefully here, because I don't think that anybody should be restricted from having their point of view or questioning certain things, especially in regards to foreign nations that have influence over America. I think that's common for any American to sit and say, well, we're concerned about the foreign influence of any nation, China, Russia, or Israel.
True.
And the ADL and all these things. And I think that the fact that anyone who questions anything regarding this is instantly accused of being anti-Semitic actually fuels the fire, instead of just saying, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it, address it.
This is one hell of a pivot, man.
Enough of us talking about our fraud. Let's go back into, are you anti-Semitic?
Yeah, I that was a hard segue into anti-Semitism. I love how Tate's trying to give. I mean, he is a dual citizen, if I recall correctly. But I love how he's trying to he's born and raised British, right? I love how he's trying to give the American view on it. Like, no, dude, you don't know anything about this. Get the fuck out of here.
Let's discuss it. So no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I know a lot of Jewish people. I am happy to, I do a lot of business.
That's because
with Jewish
I have a
people
black
already.
friend energy.
So I'm not anti-Semitic. But the hostile environment that we see online, I think it's only going to get worse unless there's a lot more open discourse and there's a lot more conversation around these things. So I think that people who are genuinely anti-Semitic and aren't interested in discussing the subject in good faith are the problem. And also the people who refuse to discuss anything without saying, oh, that makes you an anti-Semite, are also the problem. So we have two extremes on either side.
Totally.
Really, we need conversation.
Totally. And you know what? I couldn't have said it better, okay? Because that's the most articulate statement. And I'm going, as I said before, you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time with somebody that was trying to use your and your brother's celebrity to generate more views or whatever it is for them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Genuine question.
Yeah.
I know you don't know Andrew Tate's brother's name. The real question is, does Andrew know his brother's name?
Oh, I did know it. God damn it. Now I don't remember what it was. It's not Victor, right?
I love the fact that this guy Shapiro said, I just finished interviewing your brother and now I'm interviewing you. Yet at no point does he name his brother.
Oh, what is this?
I'm pretty sure that Mark Shapiro has no fucking clue what Andrew Tate's brother's name is. And again, I'm 80% sure Andrew doesn't even know what his brother's name is.
Oh God, what is his name now? Oh, Tristan.
Don't worry It doesn't matter.
Tristan.
You didn't have to say it. I knew that, but you didn't have to fucking say it.
Couldn't remember.
No, he was the other Tate brother.
What's funny is he's the better looking one too, so he's getting really the rough end.
And I think you just wanted to do this show with me because you just want to thirst trap over various people.
Hey, nothing's sexier than a good-looking grifter. Period.
I mean, I feel like it works for these guys, so all right, can't really argue that.
I'm taking notes, dude. I don't know about you. I'm taking notes.
You should absolutely be taking furious notes.
Opinion and the fact that we've reacted to your videos we react to videos for views.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we don't do as many as we used to. We do, I think, one a day now. We used to do like 3 or 4 a day. Okay. Yeah. Because it's passe.
Yeah.
Okay. You have an opinion. I have an opinion. And guess what? That's what makes us a free society.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's what makes us men. Okay. And that's what gives us the ability to institute change where we see something that's wrong and then you speak about it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the fact that people want to chastise, not just you, not just your brother, a lot of people, okay, because they're different.
Again, what's his name? What's his name, Mark? You just talked to him.
Completely. The truth is always somewhere in the middle, right? You have to have a conversation with people, and the truth is literally, nearly in all circumstances, somewhere in the middle. If you hear,
I want to know his truth. Where is his rap sheet in the middle? Where is that?
Yeah. Well,
what's in the middle of like all those accusations?
Hear two sides of a story from two individual people, neither is telling 100% the truth. So if you can't have a conversation, you're just going to live in a world of lies. That's how it's going to work.
we know neither of you telling the truth.
Best
Andrew.
video you did was the Venezuelan video.
Oh, did you like it?
You're like, everybody's a fucking Mexican. So Christian has, why do you think everybody's from Mexico?
I mean, I'm making a generalized point.
It's a joke.
But it's a joke, you know? But there are spheres in the world where you could argue that certain cultures operate in a similar way. I mean, they're called continents for a reason, right?
Yep.
You could argue that, you know, the politics in all of South America is kind of similar and the politics in all of Asia is kind of similar. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Perhaps I may have, you know, taken it to an extreme. Because I
actually loved it. I loved it.
I'm sorry. They're called continents because of the cultures that are there.
Don't you know anything?
Doesn't everybody know that Koreans and Japanese and Chinese and Vietnamese, they all fucking love each other so much? So you could just be like, Asians are all the same.
No, but they all look the same, don't they?
Yeah, so Simone Bolivar definitely didn't try to create a Grand Colombian empire. And by the way, it fell into factionalism because guess what? They're not all the fucking same. Colombians, Venezuelans, Peruvians, Ecuadorians, Panamanians, Nicaraguans, Hondurans, El Salvadorians, they all are different. They're distinct.
His use of the word culture is really just
I love the fact that he's like, culture means continents.
And those things mean color and their appearance. That's really what
I
he
wonder
wants
if
to
you
say.
would blow his mind when you were like, hey, Andrew, Europe technically is the same continent as Asia. I wonder how you'd respond to that one.
But yeah, you know, there's a white line and an Asian line and
Oh, you know he'd call it a yellow line.
And I didn't want to say that. I was thinking it though. I mean, no, I'm
look
not
at this
say that.
Look at this guy. I mean,
classy.
Yeah. This guy is at best North African, right? If you didn't know anything about his background, you'd be like, hey, he's from like Tunisia or Morocco or something.
Yeah.
Like he's not, yeah. This isn't the guy who was, storming the beaches of England in 1066. That's not what his ancestors were doing. That's not what they looked like.
Buddy, but I'm a hard man to offend. Like, I really wish people would try harder to offend me. I wish people would sit there and go, you know what, you're a mixed race and you're this, because I don't care at all. It's water off a duck's back to me.
Yeah.
So I actually get quite humbled and a little bit flattered when people get very upset by something I say or do, because why have you given me so much power over your mind?
Yeah.
I'm a guy who says things. If you don't like it, turn it off. Like, if you're really going to sit there and get so enraged by me, if you're going to give me that much control over your psyche, that's a failure on your part. I would love, and this is a challenge to the world, for anybody out there to try and think of the worst, most heinous things they can possibly say about me and see if you can get me to care. because I guarantee you're going to struggle. I'm just going to ignore it if I notice it at all. So
The jury finds you guilty.
I'll put it out there. Andrew Tate, since he just brought it up, it's not water off a duck's back. Andrew Tate fucks ducks. He's a duck fucker.
I think that's what he'll care about. Is the jury says, we find Andrew Tate guilty.
Andrew Duckfucker Tate.
No, how could you?
I think it works. I think we're gonna make it a thing.
Andrew Duckfucker.
Andrew Duckfucker Tate.
That does
Andrew
roll
Tate-
off the back
Andrew-
now, doesn't it?
Andrew Tate the Duckfucker. Yeah,
We are a classy bunch.
we are.
yeah, I make these jokes, and some people get very offended, and I guess in a lot of ways that's flattering because it's a joke.
It is flattering.
It's a joke.
Imagine
You could say something in the entire world, half the people would love you, half the people would be mad. You'd feel like, where's all this power from? It's really crazy. So it's a joke. I was joking. You know, you're not one big Mexico. There might be two countries down there. Might be they speak Spanish.
He's absolutely right
They
about
speak
one
Spanish.
thing, though. He's absolutely right about one thing, though, is we should all just stop paying attention to anything he says at all. Everyone.
Yeah.
I think that he's absolutely right. Paying attention to him gives him power. That's why I didn't like the fact that you're trying to make me watch this shit today, but this has been weirdly entertaining in a perverse sort of way. I guess this is reality TV. I'm suddenly now, this is to me the Real Housewives, and this is my, you're my connection to that world now, Adam.
Yeah, it's just like reality TV, and the only thing we care about him is the things that he's done in real life, and that he should see time for that. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Duckfucker Tate is a convicted rapist. Or it is an alleged rapist. I don't think he's been convicted yet, but yeah, alleged rapist and sex trafficker and pimp and tax evader.
Yeah, he's definitely not going back to Romania to serve any time. I can assure you that.
I mean, that's for a guy who fucks ducks. I mean, that's a pretty impressive rap
Yeah, that's
sheet.
why he can't go to jail. Where is he going to get all the ducks to fuck?
I mean, it's Romania. Maybe they'll accommodate him. I don't know. I don't know what kind of conjugal visits you get in Romania.
We can only give you cook ducks. No, you can't have them raw.
I think maybe he's in the best possible situation. Romania might be the only place where you can have a conjugal visit with a duck, and that's just the standard. The other inmates are like, "What the fuck?" And Tate's like, "Yeah,
bestiality, guys.
Quack,
It's,
bitch.
it's a new masculinity."
quack for me, bitch."
Portuguese. Maybe it's half Mexico, half Brazil. I don't know. That's South America. So
Yeah, very, very true. Very well said. This one, why do you take personal offense to OnlyFans creators?
that's not true. I don't take personal offense to them. I think that OnlyFans is actually a symptom of a diseased society.
Absolutely.
I think that if you
That only I should be cornering the market on.
put women in
Right? It's You're talking about basically the oldest profession,
Yeah.
just in the modern sense.
Sorry, but if somebody wants to see my fingers or my toes or my ears and they're going to pay me money, where do I sign?
in the position where they
Oh, I mean-
convinced they
I've got some spicy thighs, man. I could probably make a pretty good buck on OnlyFans if I wanted to.
There you go. If I knew that was possible, fuck yeah.
did not rely on a man to take care of them. And now they have to compete with men. And in this ruthless world of business, we all know how hard it is and how difficult it is and how stressed we are. A lot of women don't want to deal with the mental load and the stress. I'm not saying they can't do it, but most women don't want to feel stressed all of the time. They want to be happy. And we love them when they're happy. Women are more attractive when they're happy. We want
Oh,
them
my
carefree.
God.
That's what we want. We don't want them stressed on the phone arguing about the deal. That's our job.
Yeah.
So when you take women and say, don't listen to a man, instead go make your own money, and they can't compete with men or they don't want to compete with men because of the stress, they're going to revert back to their sexuality. And I actually think it's extremely sad that women are selling pictures of themselves for 99 cents because they'd rather do that than listen to a boyfriend or listen to a husband who's going to take care of them.
I'm breaking this up into two things. So one, obviously, what he's really mad about is women cutting
Him out of the deal.
pimp middlemen like him out of the equation,
Yeah.
right? And that's what he's upset about. That's the whole thing. I love the fact that he keeps phrasing it as in the women are competing with the men, as if someone or anyone at all is trying to buy his pictures on OnlyFans. And all the fact that women keep posting their own pictures for sale means that his sales have gone down. And that's what I like to think of it as.
Listen, this guy's, not the sharpest tool in the shed, but men are suckers. And women go on OnlyFans because men are suckers. And they will pay, like a friend said that they had somebody who wasn't even on OnlyFans, but she made gloves or something of that nature and got a letter saying, hey, if you could get these leather gloves, wear them, smoke a cigarette in them, and send it to me, I will give you $1,000 for the gloves. And I'm like, okay, let's go to the store. There's people who will pay for bath water from some of these women. I mean, men are really sad and creepy. And yes, you know what? Actually, I blame the women for taking advantage of how sad these men are. But to twist it and be like, oh, these women, because they can't compete with men. No, they're taking advantage of you, you idiot.
So two things, right? So first, I just want to point out that 2 months ago, Long Island was crowned as basically the dirtiest, right? It was outspending residents of Long Island, including Queens and Brooklyn. So we're talking like geographic Long Island, not cultural. Long Island is outspending Switzerland, France, Italy, and Spain per capita.
Yeah.
And also like Greece, Israel, Italy, like basically entire European nations. This geographic area is outspending on OnlyFans, which is bravo, right? We're such fucking perverts that we did it. Oh shit, where was I going to have the second one? Oh no, so yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so story time. In college, it's a very short story. In college, I had a friend who would make money on the side. This is like AOL Instant Messenger days, right? Like there wasn't broad internet the way it is now, right? This is all pre-social media. Dude would sell used underwear.
Yeah, that's huge.
To other dudes on eBay to make extra money. Guys would make weird random requests of like, can you wear this? Can you pee in them a little bit? Can you, eat this before you do that? Can you wear them for like 2 days? Can you like go run a mile and then take them off and send them to me? Like weird ass shit. So this has always been going on.
Yeah.
And that was I don't even think he was pretending to be a woman. Like at doing that. Like this is a dude selling underwear to dudes.
I believe it. There's all kinds, and there's a lot of weird people out there. And some of them are so weird that they don't go out in the world to do it. They figure they could go online now and have it sent to them so they could kind of keep it a secret.
There's actually there was a good article maybe a year ago or so of someone who was like, I do this. And like, here's kind of the math behind it. And it's not an easy thing to get into. It's work. It is work. And, I respect it as any other job.
Yeah, and it tells you that how like there's all these like teachers who sometimes get caught and they're making just as much money doing this as teaching. Well, there's a problem that they think that they need to do this because they're not making enough money teaching. It's not the stress that's stopping them. It's the paycheck that's stopping them and making them do these things.
It's the health insurance and the pension.
Yeah.
That's the only difference between those two jobs in terms of, financial stability.
And if you would stop grifting so much, maybe there would be more money to pay these people.
I don't think that is a good decision for any girl to make, and it's actually incredible that society's convinced them to do it. That's what I do.
I couldn't agree with you more. I didn't even know what OnlyFans was until last year. And the guy that runs our social media, he's actually on vacation. His name is Tanner.
Yeah.
And we're coming back from Houston, where we had bought a property and we did a reel on it. And this guy had not a nice watch, but he had an iced out watch. And I wanted to catch his attention. I'm like, bro, how do you make so much money to own a watch like that? And he goes, I'm an OnlyFans manager. So we walked and I said, Tanner, what is that?
Yeah.
And he goes, that's OnlyFans. And he explained it to me. And I said, oh, so he's a pimp.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's a pimp.
Correct.
And so prostitution is as old as time.
Oldest trick in the book.
And I can't believe it.
I'm sorry, Andrew. Are you pretending you didn't traffic money for webcams and lock them in your basement, and or also be their boyfriend and exploit them for this at the exact same time? You're really gonna sit back there and be like, "Yeah, man, that's bad. Oh, that's awful."
That's why the camera doesn't like focus on him for any length of time, and it just cuts to him.
Well, you notice he sat back.
Yeah.
Right. He kind of made himself small when he started to
He's
say
like,
that.
Yep. All the time. Yep. Prostitutes. Yep. That's it.
You
That's
do
it.
this, And then we've actually had some. We do rent this studio for a lot.
Yeah.
And we had some girl come in.
Yeah.
And she's big on OnlyFans. In person, she did not look the same.
Yeah, of course not.
She looked terrible.
Absolutely.
Okay. She was polite. She was nice. Okay. And I took a picture with her because she wanted to take a picture. But I had no idea who these people are.
Yeah.
I really don't even care.
No, yeah, it's crazy. It's a symptom of a dying society on the girl's side, and it's also, in many ways, a symptom of our dying society on the man's side, because there's so many men with repressed sexuality, because getting girls almost in the modern world is not so much about charm and personality like it used to be. A lot of it is about money. Let's be realistic here. Girls want men with money, and that's fine because we have money. But if you're a normal dude and you have no money.
And I want women with money. So, hey, we got something in common. Silly. It's not that they're repressed sexual. Most of these. Oh, yeah, maybe they are repressed because what they want to do with those other fucking underwear is fucking weird.
You know, we just don't have enough Ed Geins and Ted Bundys and John Wayne Gacy's out there who have no healthy outlet for their repressed sexuality and urges, right? Yeah. And it has to escalate to the level of where they eventually got to, right? They couldn't just fill their fetish on OnlyFans on demand, right? They had to bury it down deep until it manifested into something more terrible. No. Society's definitely worse off now as a result.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you end up on all these porn websites and all these OnlyFans, etc. So it's kind of crazy the direction in which the world is moving in. And people talk about the birth rate and, you know, people aren't getting married and no one's having kids and all these things. That's because the girls are on OnlyFans selling content and the men are on OnlyFans buying content. And there's a few guys at the top with all the girlfriends. And it's kind of messed up. The societal contract is broken now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. Oh. And I don't think we're heading in a good direction, personally.
With morality and being that I'm an Orthodox Jew and being that I don't want to use the word shopping, but I actually have a friend who's a religious woman. It's very different than dating a normal woman.
Yeah.
There's no sex, there's no petting, there's no any of this. Yeah. It's about value and so forth. And she's very pretty girl.
Yeah.
And I could see spending a tremendous amount of time with her because she has these values.
Yep.
And because she's genuine. There's a lot less real women.
Yeah, he could see spending a lot of time with her, but then he'll have a side piece that he'll be banging.
Yeah, I like how he's like just so close to hitting the mark, yet he's so far off. He's like, yeah, this woman's great, but she's really religious and I can't get off with her until I marry her. So what's the value of her to me?
Yeah, he's like, you know, like he just said earlier in this episode that he like ruined his marriage, and yeah, I'm assuming that this would go the same way, my friend. Guaranteed.
Today, because
this is guy. He's talking about, you know, how great this woman is, but would he actually respect her? I don't think he doesn't respect himself enough to realize that he's not good enough for someone like her, or maybe he does.
Well, I think he would respect her, but in what he deems respectful, he would buy her things, he would take her to nice places, they would go out, he would schmooze with her, but he would, you know, when he travels, he would definitely be with someone else.
Have other girlfriends. Sure, yeah. He'd go zip code rules, right? Or area code rules.
Yes.
Yeah. Once you're out of the area code.
The cars, the money, the house.
That's right.
Okay. And society's become an epidemic of low morality.
Yeah.
Purely low morality.
100%. And that's driven.
Say the two convicts.
Say the two criminal convicts.
Nothing better than being denigrated by two convicts questioning us on our morality.
I'm sorry, Adam. I take everything back. Thank you for making me sit through this fucking shit.
I mean, this is like watching a stand-up special.
The unintentional comedy hour.
Why is this so funny?
Okay, now I'm starting to get all those like watch shows, right? Like the guys who watch Alex Jones and the guys who watch Joe Rogan. I get it. It's the unintentional comedy of how fucking stupid these people are and how hypocritical they are.
Oh, God. It's just
As you perfectly stated earlier about people looking at other people's cups. We live in a world of endless envy. And social media is such a powerful tool to tell a story and to get a message across. But social media is also one of the largest reasons why I believe people in the Western world are depressed. If you're broke, unfortunately, you now have to watch on your phone everyone be rich. That's got to be depressing. I mean, if you're sitting...
No, he's right to some extent. I am sometimes depressed watching people like you have money. To me, that's depressing because that should not exist in this world. And you're showing me constantly that a grifter can benefit in life with very few repercussions. That's depressing.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? It's not, oh man, Andrew Tate is rich. I wish I was wealthy. I'm depressed now. It's like, how did a no talent piece of shit like you, who climbed to his fame and his fortune in obviously criminal ways, why are you still successful? Right? That's depressing.
Yes, if we'd said right now that he was helping women who were being sex trafficked and he made his money and he did all this, I'm not going to be depressed. I'm like, man, what a great guy. What a great human being. Not so much with you, dude.
They're struggling to pay your bills and you're watching everyone else, especially people younger than you or the same age as you, or people, even worse, people who don't even come across as intelligent, idiots. When you're looking at idiots with like a car you can't afford, it must damage your psyche on some level. You're like, how does this function? Of course. And girls are sitting there and they believe, because you talk to any girls on these dating podcasts, they believe they deserve endless millions of dollars. These very normal looking women believe they deserve the entire planet because they have an Instagram profile where they don't look like they actually look. And they're getting these messages from these famous men. So the world is kind of broken. The societal contract of a normal man, a normal woman, a normal family, this really feels broken in the West, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But there's no doubt that social media, OnlyFans, the monetization of sex, all these things are playing into the declining birth rate and the fact that they're saying like in 100 years there's going to be no people around. That's insane. That's crazy that people are having so much sex. And
yeah, is it because we killed ourselves?
I'm not going to defend. You know, he makes a very generic, broad statement about women, right, on dating podcasts and all that, but. The thing that bothers him, and once again, is not what he's saying, right? He's saying like they're demanding the world and all this, and you're not good looking enough to demand it, is what he's saying, right? What he means is like these women know their worth, and they expect to be treated with dignity and respect, ultimately, and that's not something that he wants to offer, nor does he want his followers and the people who go to Hustlers University to treat these women like people who are human beings and worthy of dignity and respect, ultimately. And by the way, he keeps bringing it up multiple times. You talk about the declining birth rate. The declining birth rate is one, it is more difficult to meet partners, and people who do meet partners are getting married and having kids later and later. But there's a major reason for that. It's too fucking expensive to do anything. Yeah. And having kids is ridiculously expensive. And when you live in a society that requires two incomes just to scrape by, when our parents' generation could do the same financially on a relative basis with one income, now when you can't have as many kids.
Yeah,
you just simply can't.
And you coming out of college, if you both met, say, in college, and you're probably like both of you each $100+ grand in debt, so you're already off to a bang up start.
Exactly. More than anything, like we have offloaded the costs of things from society-wide to on the individual. That has been kind of the mass trend financially for decades at this point, right? And we keep going, man, everything's really expensive. Why are people not doing the things that traditionally they used to do? It's like, because we have to pay for all of it out of our own pocket now, and wages have not kept up, or at least if they have kept up, they're not surpassing where we were, but the financial burden has shifted entirely.
I mean, if vacation nowadays costs as much as a house 50 years ago, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You go away with a family, you're all of a sudden like, oh, it's going to be like $8,000. Okay.
I remember my mom got an Oldsmobile in 1987, I want to say, maybe 1986. And I remember reading the invoice because I just found it in paperwork at some point years later. And I think it cost $8,000 new. I remember that was a number that kind of stuck with me around that. That was a brand new sedan in America, was $8,000. back then. Now, if you want to get into a similar sedan, right? I mean, you're at least 40 grand.
Yeah.
At least, right? For the same thing.
And your salaries have not kept up with inflation, folks.
Again, it's even if let's just say the salaries have kept up with inflation, right? And everything is on an equal basis and these things cost the same. Again, we have offloaded the cost of all these things from employers and the government to the individual. You no longer have pensions or defined benefit plans. You have 401ks that you have to pay out of your own pocket. You no longer have, all your health care. It's completely privatized and out of pocket. Childcare, privatized and out of pocket. Schooling, education, privatized and out of pocket, except for where public schooling still is, even if it hasn't been gutted and is at an acceptable level where you're at, right? There's no longer so many things that you could once take for granted no longer are available to you. And so you have to pay for them. And that sucks. Like you just said, people didn't used to have to graduate with hundreds of thousands of college debt just to get a job, any job. But at this point, college has become so commoditized. Now you're going into 100K of debt. You have no job placement guarantees as a result. Where it used to be, these dudes, our parents' generation, could literally walk out of high school with a D average and get a job that basically paid them for life. Mm-hmm. Before we moved out here, we looked at one house and it was like a 50, 60-year-old house or whatever it was. And we saw kind of like they had the original builder's specs and whatnot. It was kind of like one of those historical things that they sell with the house. It was pretty cool. But this house had no basement. It was on a slab. And when they built the neighborhood, the option to add in a basement was $250.
Yeah.
And which was something like 2% of the purchase price of the house at the time. And this was one of the houses where the owner was like, yeah, don't do the basement. I don't want to pay the extra $250. It's like, do you know how much money you would have to spend these days to add something like this in?
Exactly.
Like it's insane. Like these things were drops in the bucket.
Our neighbor, before she passed away, she would say, oh, I loved your house, but I couldn't afford that style because it was like just X amount of hundreds of dollars or like $1,000 or $2,000 more than the house she ended up buying. Because that was a lot of money. That would have been a lot more on the mortgage. That probably was back then. You're paying like a 10, 12% mortgage. People didn't think things would get that much more expensive.
Exactly.
Or rates would come down that much.
No one's making kids and no one's having a family. No one thinks, you know what, let's actually build something from this.
Selfish.
Yeah, selfish. Yeah.
Selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish.
Selfish.
For me,
fuck you, Mark.
Fuck.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck your Orthodox self, right? Shove a Torah up your ass.
How many
shit.
many kids does Tate have? I hope none. I'm guessing none. God help us if he has any.
I sincerely hope it's zero. I think the problem is he would contest paternity deeply.
Yeah, no,
your brother told me about his kids.
What's his name? What's his name, Mark?
Oh man, his brother has kids, but maybe that's why he's not the face of this industry.
Being a parent is the greatest privilege there is.
That's what life's for.
Period.
That's right.
Okay. And in Judaism, we believe we are multiplying and move forward. We believe in certain things. And the reality is that we all believe in one boss, the chairman of the board of the universe. And we can't all get along and we can't all agree with each other, but at least we can be respectful and listen to that other person's opinion and try to learn from it.
Yeah.
And the society's issue is people become so polarized with their own bullshit and they think they know better and they think they're smarter.
Yeah.
That is what is scary.
I agree with you.
And we've had that in society. What do you think of Miami?
I generally question, right? And Mark has made that point multiple times now. Like, does this seem like a person who's open-minded and would listen to you if you had a conversation with him about something he deeply didn't believe in?
I mean, before I get into any further, I was like, look at this, like an ankle off.
That is some OnlyFans level of Victorian ankles right there.
That's right. Oh my God.
Miami. I don't think anywhere compares to Miami. I think it's got enough action. You can chill. There's also some very nice places close by, 1 hour's drive, 2 hours drive. I mean, Trump is the president, and even he's down here in Florida when he's not working. So I think Miami and Florida is certainly the place to be. It rains a lot, for an hour a day. It's kind of hard to pick your clothes. But besides that, a little bit of traffic, I think it's one of the better cities in the world. There's no doubt about it.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Where else can you live?
It's a paradise. Well, you could live in a lot of places, but you're not going to be as happy as you are here.
Absolutely.
And there's accessibility here to whatever you want.
There's a lot of opportunity here.
Tremendous.
A lot of money here.
Tremendous.
There's a lot that can be done here if you keep your head on your shoulders. So
tremendous.
Nice place.
This is not one of your questions. The hardest knockout that you ever got knocked out with?
Yeah, I've only ever been knocked out cold once.
Wow.
Luckily, my last fight didn't go my way, and he hurt me, but he didn't knock me out. But I have been knocked out cold once in Slovenia. I was in Slovenia, and it was a tournament, so you have to fight more than once in the night. It would start as a 16-man tournament, and it boiled down to the final 4. I fought my first guy. I knocked him out in the first round. Then 2 other guys fought. One of them won, and we met in the final, and I got a flying knee in the face.
That'll knock you out.
That'll knock you out
right away.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see that video
too. It was very unfortunate because I really believed I was going to win. So that was the only full out cold knockout I've ever suffered in 87 fights.
87 fights.
Yeah,
that's
quite
a lot.
That's a lot of fights. Yeah.
What did the training up to the fights teach you?
I think that fighting is actually teaches you a lot about the realities of life, and I think my philosophy on life in general is that I don't ever really expect my enemies to have mercy on me. I think a lot of people go through the world expecting their enemies to feel sorry for them at some point if they act weak enough.
Yep.
And I don't believe that ever happens or works. I believe that even if you look at your situation, if you cry in front of the police, they don't care. If you say, like, you beg them, they don't care. I don't think people really ever have mercy on you that way. I think that perhaps the universe or karma or the simulation or the matrix or whatever you want to call it, good fortune and providence comes your way when you stand up and stick to your word and mean what you say. And in the end, things seem to work out. But a lot of people, especially the young generation today, they talk from a position of, please have pity for me. And I don't think that ever comes. And fighting teaches you that. When you get hit or you get hurt, your opponent doesn't feel sorry for you. In fact, he thinks the opposite. He wants to hurt you more.
Right.
And I think that's how life functions. If you show weakness, people are going to jump all over you and they're going to try their very best to hurt you. And anybody who's at home watching this can think of a situation in their life where, even with a romantic partner, you can show weakness and they can jump all over you. So that's how it goes. So I think you just have to be prepared to stand up. And get hit.
That's some toxic masculinity right there. Don't talk to your partner about your feelings. Don't be vulnerable to them. That's a bad thing. Yeah, no. Women are just for sexual usage, right, Andrew?
Rocky nailed it. The reason those movies are so successful is not because Rocky always wins. It's because Rocky keeps moving forward.
Never gives up.
Never gives up.
And it's funny, did you see F1 with Brad Pitt?
Yep.
One of my favorite actors. It was really a modern day Rocky in a car.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if people can take away from one thing, okay, that you teach people and that you try to inspire people, what would be the biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think that's one of them. And I think the other one that's really important to keep in mind is, and this comes from my father who was a chess player, I think that we all understand personal accountability and personal responsibility, but the most beautiful thing about chess is if you lose a game, you must accept that somewhere along the line you made a mistake. Even though it may have been a small mistake, even though it may have been a long time ago, somewhere along the line you made a mistake. And I think that having absolute self-accountability in that situation, in all situations, to sit and go, no matter what happened, no matter how unfair it was, somehow I left myself open for this, or somehow I did something I wasn't supposed to do. I think that gives you the most control over your life and the ability to make better decisions moving forward. My criminal case, very much like yours, was completely unfair. However,
I let the women live or I let them get away.
Jesus Christ.
I could have done things to prevent it happening to me. So you have to, the most powerful thing you can do is
like
say,
maybe
okay,
don't traffic
this is
women.
all unfair, but I'm going to put the blame on me. If I put the blame on them, I have no power.
Right.
I have no control, and I can't change anything. If I truly believe all of the blame's on them and I'm 100% an innocent angel, then nothing's going to change. Whereas if you do the opposite and say, okay, this is unfair, but I'm going to pretend it's all my fault. How can I prevent this from ever happening again? And I think if you do that, you don't make excuses. You don't hope for mercy or pity from your enemies. You blame everything on yourself. I think you can make some pretty good decisions moving
Why do we have so many enemies?
forward. I think that's the best way.
Ownership.
But yeah,
Ownership.
he's got a lot of enemies. To be fair, he's not entirely wrong about what he's saying. He's just saying in the most asshole way possible.
Yeah, of course.
Right? He's talking about just taking personal responsibility for what happens in your life and how you got to your circumstances, and take a look at, what could you have done differently, right? And what was in your control to handle. It's just, this is like Deepak Chopra or some sort of fucking affirmations bullshit, except in just the douchiest possible delivery method possible.
The basis of masculinity is saying, yes, it's me. I did it. I made a mistake. I own up. Yep. It's me. That's the whole point of it, right?
Most people don't do that. Most people blame the other person.
Absolutely. And
most people refuse.
You do realize you started the show blaming the district attorneys coming after you for your money, not because you were guilty of any crimes.
Yeah, so let's see. We've gone from it's poor people are coming after you because they're envious. The district attorneys, the U.S. attorneys are coming after you to make a name for themselves. I didn't do anything wrong. By the way, they love Trump.
Yeah.
Right. And now they're saying, no, you got to be a man. You got to take responsibility. The opposite of what this dude does. What did I do? It's amazing the journey what we've gone on in the 39 minutes that playtime that's been going on. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And that's why they have no power moving forward, because they don't learn anything. And I think that, I like to blame myself for everything. I can blame myself for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I win. This is life.
Duck fucker.
And that is how innocent this thing was.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was it. And for anyone that wants to judge Tristan and Andrew, for anyone that wants to judge,
you gotta
judge yourself.
He knows the name.
They were in the wrong
took
place.
him a moment though. You have to think about it.
It's like, who that fucking guy again is? Oh yeah.
He's like, I want to say the name, but what the hell is it? Oh, damn, Tristan. Imagine he said it wrong.
Yes.
That would have been amazing.
Trevor.
Somebody used their fame to try to ingratiate and grow their fame, okay? And they're standing up. They're owning up, okay? They don't need to apologize because they didn't go out of their way to do something. They didn't play the song. The DJ played the song. Someone made them put the song on, okay? However, the other people in the Sprinter van, the idiot, okay? However he thought was to react, I don't know. Maybe he was drunk, maybe he was high. I don't really know, okay? I just think he's an idiot.
What are you talking about?
And I stand by my word.
That whole photo stuff of the Kanye song and Hitler, Heil stuff.
Oh, the whole, if Hitler came back today and saw who was worshiping him, he'd fucking kill himself all over again. That thing? Yeah, gotcha.
You're very transparent.
I try to be.
And that shows confidence. Getting to this point, what was the greatest struggle that got you to this point?
It's a really good question. I think that, you have to really understand why you're trying to be so successful as a man. I think all of us as men, if we're honest with ourselves, are driven by this huge sense of ego. I think that we want to feel important and we want others to see us as important. And I think if you use that
It's called insecurity,
energy
Andy.
in the correct direction, it can actually be an extremely powerful thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I want everyone to view me as a competent, important, smart, successful man. I think that's a great thing.
Going?
But then you get to a point and you have to
What's
really
going
work
on?
out, what did you want all of the success for? Did you really want the cars? Did you really want all the women? Most of the time we do want all the women, but do you really want all of these things, or what is going to be the end goal of all of this success? And I think that's why it's so important at a certain level, a certain amount of money, certainly a certain age, that you do have a family, because it grinds you. It grounds you, and it says to you, it reminds you what's actually important in the world. And you go, you know what? The best thing about having all of this money is that I get to take care of my family. That's the best thing about having all the money.
Yeah.
The cars, the jets, the boats, all of that is nice. Meeting women to perhaps make a family with, sure, that's nice. But once you have a family, it reminds you what's actually important in the world. And I think that's one of the most, when I see men who make a whole bunch of money and they just get caught in these hedonistic cycles that go to nowhere, I think that that's because they don't have that grounding element, and that's dangerous.
So for me, we turn our phones off on Friday night to observe the Shabbat, and we don't turn it on until 24 hours later. It gives me that ability to get grounded.
Yeah.
It gives me that ability to reflect and look at what I did, whether I liked it during the week or whether I didn't like it, and then correct it. When you see these young kids, and they all look up to you, do you think it's important to correct them, or do you think it's important to motivate them? What's more important?
I think in the world today, it's very hard almost to tell anybody what to do. I think you have to, we all understand lead by example, but I think if you're living a life that they want, that they're going to try and replicate the steps that got you there. So if you're living a life that people want and you talk about the fact you only built it based purely on self-accountability and responsibility, then they're going to be a lot more likely to listen to you. Especially in the social media world, where you have so much social proof to stand out from the rest, right? Because there's so many people online. So I try and do my best to live by example. I'm certainly not a perfect person, but I try and explain that, look, not everything in life goes my way all of the time, but I'll take my L, I'll take my loss, I'll stand up and say, look, this went wrong, or I lost here, or congratulations to my opponent. And I'm respectful to everybody I meet. I'm very nice to every waiter, every person who holds a door open for me. I try my very best to just go through life in a particular way where if anybody does want to emulate my success and they try and emulate my actions, it's going to be better for the world. So, we're all human and we all make mistakes. But instead of lecturing people saying you should do this or should do this, what I try and say is, this is how I got here. And I think that's why people copy and follow.
What got you into kickboxing?
I think Andrew Tate, you're right.
Originally a chess
Andrew Tate is the equivalent of you fail as a father when your daughter goes on the stripper pole, right? You fail as a father when your son starts listening and following Andrew Tate.
Yes. If my son did, I would be like, what the fuck did I do wrong?
That's a serious moment of reflection right there.
Did I not hug and kiss you enough? Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
maybe I didn't kick your ass enough.
He might just be rebelling, but
like my dad. So I was due to be a grandmaster in chess. I was growing up here in America, and then my mother and father broke up. We moved to England, so I lost my chess coach. So I didn't play chess properly for a while. There's no real chess program in British schools. There was a big chess program. Yeah, there's
Why
a big
are you
chess
blaming the
program in
external
American
instead of
schools.
taking ownership,
I went to school in Indiana. There was a big chess program. But in England, there was no real chess program. So for a couple of years, I didn't do too much. It's kind of before the internet, so I couldn't play online. So I didn't really have a coach. And then I thought,
is this why you enslaved your girlfriend and turned her to a cam girl?
Similar to chess. And in my mind, fighting is similar to chess because it's one-on-one. There's no team.
Am I the only one who doesn't do that?
It's brutal. You're trying to crush your opponent as quickly and as ruthlessly as possible.
I love that.
Yeah. So to me, they were very similar sports. And perhaps one's physical, one's mental, but I would still argue that chess is harder. At the elite level, the way these guys look at the board and think about the game is so impressive to me. It's incredible. My dad could play chess without looking at a board. You could sit here and say E4, C5, knight F3, knight C6, and he beat you without looking at a board. It's incredible. So it's one of those things you're either born with the brain for or you're not. Don't think I ever had the potential to get as good as him. But that's why I originally shifted to fighting. And then fighting kept me very balanced. It kept me very grounded. I grew up in a bad area. I had a lot of things going on around me. I could have got dragged into really bad things. But if you have to be in the gym at a certain time, that means you have to sleep at a certain time.
I think he probably did.
You have to eat.
Yeah, I don't think it was maybe I could have, Andrew. It's you were.
Yeah, sure sounds like it did.
Yeah, a certain time. And all of a sudden your life has a whole bunch of structure that perhaps it would have been missing. And I think systems and structure and these things, even to this day, I have systems and structure. That's how my life operates and runs. You know very well, you don't get successful without it. I need to go gym at this. This is my place. I want this way.
Well, you had systems and structure, but you were also talented.
Of course.
Okay. You don't win 4 championships by not being talented. You don't decide, I'm going to get into kickboxing and then just go out and have 87 matches and win the majority of them. You don't do that.
That's true.
You have raw talent, and then that talent becomes defined.
Absolutely. And you're right. But, I think that a lot of talent only shows itself after the hard work is done, right? To find out if you're talented or not, you could be the most talented piano player in the world, but if you never play piano, then somebody without the talent who just practices is going to be better than you. The only way you see the talent is if you both study for 1,000 hours and then see that you're much better than they are.
Yeah.
So the talent comes at the end of the work. And unless you're prepared to really dedicate yourself to something and really try to do something, it's hard to identify if you were even talented.
No, it's funny you're saying that, and I'm thinking like he's fucking right. Because I've had this conversations with my son all the time.
Well, no, there's a difference between natural talent and having to work. But he's like, what did he say before? He's like, someone could be the greatest pianist, but they don't actually play the piano. I'm like, well, then they're not really a pianist now, are they?
I think he's meaning that like they have the ability to do it, but they never really took the time to actually execute on that thing. But I mean, the 1,000 hours thing, like, you know, if you put both of them up against each other and that person was willing to practice, this is why I yell at my son. I'm like, that guy is that good because he practices like 3 times a week. You don't want to practice. Therefore, you cannot be that good. It's just that simple.
I mean, look, there's a difference between natural talent and skill earned through hard work and earning it, right? Like talent you're born with, and the hard work cultivates and sculpts and molds that talent, right? And can supplement it and enhance it and lead it in, you know, the correct directions, right, to be successful at whatever it is that you're trying to do. But yeah, I don't know.
It keeps you on the right path. Yeah, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put in any of the work, you're not going to get to that extra level. You take it for granted. You're like, oh, I could compete with these guys because I'm good enough. And then all of a sudden they're getting better because they're working at it. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have the same. Yeah, you're saying you have the conversation with your son. I have the same conversation with my daughter, right? I'm like, dude, you're not. You think you're good now, but you're not good enough to not work at your craft, right? So you need to practice. You need to make an effort to continue to develop and grow because you're not a finished product right now.
So you got to work at it. It's got to be something you love to do. And unfortunately, he loves to do a lot of the wrong things, Mr. Nate.
Onto that or not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think one of the problems in the world today, it's probably one of the biggest issues with social media and all these other things, is that the world is speeding up now. Everything is happening so quickly. It's too fast. They tried to kill Trump, and 2 days later, nobody cared. Like the news cycle is 24 hours, and everyone's brain is constantly distracted. Nobody can watch a movie without going on their phone. Everyone's in a rush. Everyone has ADHD. Everyone has anxiety. Everything is so fast all the time, and that means that everybody wants everything fast. And unfortunately, as you know, even better than me, it's hard to get anything of value immediately.
No.
Anything that comes immediately is kind of scary. If I walked in here and you said, here, Andrew, nice to meet you, here's $1 million, I think, is he going to shoot me in the parking lot? What did he give me $1 million for? What is this immediate money?
He's hiding it from the feds, dude.
From, you know? So immediate things often are a trap if they arrive at all. And everyone's constantly trying to find the quickest avenue to what they want. And I think that's leading to a lot of bad decisions. The world doesn't work that way. So talent rears its head after a whole bunch of very difficult, very hard work, after the long slog.
Of course.
And that's where the talent comes in.
Of course. It shapes you. It creates that what's steel sharpens steel.
Absolutely.
Diamonds are made based on heat and pressure.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So we all deal with pressure every day. If you could leave the viewers with one thing you want them to know, okay, besides the fact that you're charming, articulate, handsome, and a good fighter.
I'll take it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What do you want them to know about you?
Yeah, I think that, you know, the beauty of life is often found not just in all of the positives, but you really need the negatives of life to appreciate anything. I think that you probably have so much more appreciation for your life now after what happened to you than you did beforehand.
Yep.
There really, truthfully, is no light without dark. And whenever you're in a dark place, you need to see it as a springboard for the light which is coming. If everything went well in your life all of the time, if every single time you went anywhere, nothing bad ever happened, if every single girl you tried to talk to wanted you, if it was always a green light, if everything went perfectly all of the time, you know what? You'd be miserable.
If every single duck
You'd be miserable if everything was perfectly easy all of the time. Us humans, for some reason, maybe we're all crazy. We need struggle. And we need the dark to appreciate the light. So next time you're in a bad position or you're feeling a certain way, just understand that feelings pass and time moves on. And in the end, you're going to look back on it all, as crazy as it is, as a happy memory. It's remarkable to me, sir, that you were sentenced to 85 years, your whole life, and you probably never thought you were going to get out. And now here you are out, and now it's all just a happy memory. Now it's all a joke. Now it's all funny. Now it's all your best story. It's truly incredible, no matter how bad it seems, how it seems to work out in the end. And I've been there. So when people say I'm feeling really down and it's really difficult right now and I don't see it ever getting better, it's going to get better. And you need to remember those times, because you're actually, as crazy as it sounds, going to think back on them fondly at some point. It's crazy.
I can't add to that.
Thanks,
Okay?
sir.
That's well said, and that's exactly how I feel. Guys, Andrew, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Good to meet you, bro.
All right, so look, Duckfucker is a piece of shit, but he did make two good points there, right at the end. I will give him credit for that, right? Talking about, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't let it get you down, right? You go through the bad times to get to the good, and you got to work at your craft, right, to be successful. Like, that's actually legitimately good advice. I cannot criticize it. But then he immediately couches it in the whole, I can't believe they got you. Dude, you defrauded hundreds of elderly people of their life savings. Like, fuck this guy.
And it's amazing to take life advice from two criminals.
Exactly. We're taking life advice from two convicted
and
criminals.
Millions of people watch this stuff and eat it up.
I mean, the audacity of this asshole to blame the liberals, right? I would rather take whatever he imagines, quote unquote, liberals to be. I would rather take an entire society, 100% of those people, than whatever the fuck he is, right?
Yeah.
The guy who grifts the elderly. Good times. All right, Adam. Fuck you for making me watch this. But,
you enjoyed it. You know it.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
It's okay. I know already deep down inside you did.
Brutal. Duckfucker. Andrew Duckfucker Tate.
Out.